Welcome back to Global Business Europe. The popularity of women's football has soared in recent years, bringing a surge in profits for their clubs. Analysis of the game's top 15 clubs last season showed they brought in more than $120 million, passing the $100 million mark for the first time, a rise of 35% year on year. But that is still just a fraction of what the men's teams and their players earn. Let's talk to Jennifer Haskel, who's from Deloitte Football Money League, who carried out the analysis. Good to see you, Jennifer. Welcome to the programme. So we're now seeing that the amount of money generated by women's teams has passed 100 million euros, roughly $100 million for the first time. Are we now seeing women's football taking its place as something that people really want to watch and get behind?
Thanks so much for having me, first of all. And yes, I think we're seeing an incredible growth story on the revenue front, but what we're also seeing are the metrics far and beyond just revenue. So we're seeing increases in attendance, we're seeing increases in engagement and commercial partnerships that are really amplifying the visibility and the audience of women's football. And that's allowing other metrics to continue to rise as well. And we're seeing further investment in both the leagues and the structures, as well as grassroots participation, which we know is important for so many other things beyond just professional sport.
Well, let's talk about some of the specifics. The highest earning team, Barcelona, but 8 of the top 15 high earning teams are English. Why are English teams doing so well?
I think what we're seeing is a lot of investment in terms of the match day culture. We're seeing a lot of test and learn happening across WSL clubs. But what we're also seeing is that in the past season, in the reportable season, all of the WSL clubs actually had an English Premier League equivalent on their men's side. So while we're recognizing that the growth of women's football is happening in a different and unique way, there is also that ability to work with a long-standing brands like an English Premier League club. So I think that's one thing to consider. But also we're seeing now that the leagues are being run by an independent company. You can see further growth in their commercial partnerships and future growth in their broadcast revenue, which will further entrench them in the European landscape.
So is it a case of building audiences and the rest will follow, or is there more that can be done by women's football to generate more money?
I think there's always more that can be done. We think that audience and fan engagement is going to be crucial to the growth of women's sport, because it not only brings further revenue and further eyes and visibility to women's football, but it is bringing new fans, new partners, and new investors into the sport as a whole. So all in all, it's beneficial for the sport to grow, but it's also beneficial in recognizing that we can uplift a lot of these women athletes and give young girls and boys role models for the future.
So great to see women's football making these gains. We should, of course, point out that it's still a very long way behind the kind of money the men's game generates. There's more to be done, isn't there?
Definitely, and I think we're seeing positive growth signs when it comes to the investment, whether that be in infrastructure, whether that be in the fan engagement metrics, but we're also in a fairly nascent stage where, we're looking at women's football as almost a venture capital stage. It's early investment, it's high growth, high potential, and so we're looking forward to seeing it break more barriers in revenue, which is just one metric, but also across attendances, engagement, and visibility in coming years.
Jennifer, thanks so much for coming on the programme. Good to talk to you. That's Jennifer Haskel from Deloitte Football Money League.